Good afternoon, Primetime Squad. How is everybody doing today? I am actually behind the camera today. And wow, we are going to be discussing Married to Medicine. I'm also going to be preparing my dinner. And actually it's kind of my dinner, kind of not my dinner. But my oldest son, he took ill. He has the flu. He's been down for the count. And even though, he's away from home right now because him and his girlfriend recently moved out a little while ago, I took him to the hospital today, picked him up while she was at work, and then I told him once I got off of work, after I went back to my job and taking him, actually I had to take him to the emergency room. So he wanted to go to the doctor for a doctor's appointment, but the way that he was sounding, and I know my son, you know your kids. And I was like, I really think, if you feeling as bad as you are, don't want to go to work and stuff like that. And he's a hard worker, works every day. So I knew that he had to be really, really ill. So I took him to the ER. And then I went back to work. I figured he had the flu. I wanted to stay there with him. But, I had to work today. We're behind in work, so I had to work today. Told him to keep in contact with me while he was at the hospital. And then once he got done, I went and picked him up and then dropped him off. Bought him a lot of goodies, for sick people, not real goodies, but 7-Up, OJ, some fruits, plenty of juice, plenty of water, some soups, pain medicine. And actually, I do have to, a little bit later, go pick up his medicine, which was called into Walgreens, that the doctors in the ER prescribed to him, and they told him he has to stay home, can't go to work till Monday, at least Monday. And of course, if his symptoms get worse, you know how it goes. He needs to go back to the doctor. But in the meantime and in between time, I told him I would make him some homemade chicken soup like I used to do for them when they were little. So that's what I'm doing right now while we're going to discuss Married to Medicine. So come on in, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button. I'm going to be cooking and chopping and hooking up this delicious meal for my son. Anyway, again, hit the like button and share the video if you like. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, if you want to become a member of a Primetime Squad, all you have to do is click that notification bell after you hit the subscribe button. Thank you very kindly. But anyway, I'm just cutting up my, as you can see, cutting up my celery right now. So, but you guys, as far as Married to Medicine, what did you think about this last episode? Make sure you tell me your thoughts on this last episode. And let's see, where do we want to start first? Should we start with Toya? Let's start with Toya this time. I think we started with Jackie last time with her storyline. Let's start with Toya this time. Now, Toya, as we all know, her and Eugene has got back on their feet within the last year. They done paid off all their debts. They done saved up some money, paid off the tax man, and been searching for a house. And then last season, after not finding a house that was, equipped with all their needs and necessities, they decided to build a custom-built house. And I must say, y'all, that house gives me all my life. It gives me all my life. It is so beautiful. It is fascinating. It is, I'm like, even Dr. Simone's husband, Cecil, who is a real estate agent, might I add, he was impressed. Impressed. He was like, oh my God. I mean, I don't know what was my favorite thing about this house. If it was the 25-foot ceilings, the 2-story closet that Toya has, the man cave, that basement was magnificent. It had a marble bar. Oh my God. The house was amazing. I love it. I love it. I love that pool that they got in the backyard. Just beautiful. They deserve it. They deserve it. I wish Toya and her husband the absolute best, because that is like my favorite couple on the show. Honestly, that's my favorite couple on the show. So, again, the house is beautiful. They invited Dr. Simone and her husband, Cecil, over to their house, and they had dinner. Toya's husband got down on that grill as he naturally does. I really wish I could taste his cooking, because that food be looking amazing. I'm dropping onion peels on the floor. That food be looking absolutely amazing. Just delicious, scrumptious, mouth-watering. So they're sitting around and they're discussing, the group, the ladies, their home, everything like that. And they ended up getting on the topic of the couple's trip. And several of them have had the opportunity to plan the couple's trip. Actually, I think the only person who hasn't planned a trip, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's Mariah. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. But we saw Heavenly's trip that one time that she had planned when she was the marriage counselor. And oh my God, absolute mess. Just a hot mess. She had everybody heated. Toya wanting to whoop her butt. I mean, it was a trip. And we saw Simone do it before. We saw Jackie lead the couple's trip before. And we saw Toya and her man lead the couple's trip before. Toya. When it was her turn to do the couple's trip and to lead the couple's trip, it was... Man, she was under so much pressure, stressed out. I mean, I don't recommend Toya do another couple's trip in a very long time. But she was crying and everything last time. It was crazy. But so Dr. Simone, she told her they are snatching it back. They are taking the reins of the couple's trip. Well, the couple's retreat, couple's vacation, couple's trip, whatever you want to call it. And she's taking the reins back, and her and Cecil are going to handle the couple's trip. And I cannot wait to see how this is going to work out. But Simone claims that they are going to do a great job at it. And she also wants everybody to come. And so Toya, of course, is like, everybody? Like everybody? Like, who are you referring to as everybody? They going to Cabo, by the way. And she's like, who are you referring to as everybody? She said, well, I want Quad to come. I'm like, oh Lord, how's this going to work out? Me personally, even though Toya, she's pretty skeptical about it. She's, concerned because, and I don't know why she should be so concerned. Like, Quad, she's single. She's going through a divorce. It should be finalized soon. She was on the couple's trip last time, and she didn't start as much ruckus as, Toya probably would have thought she would. I thought everything went okay. And yes, I am using bag carrots for my soup. I normally use raw, uncut carrots, but I already had these in the fridge, and they need to get used up. They were for my salads. I had bought a couple of bags, and this was the last bag left. So anyway, I'm just going to chop these up a little bit because I only need like a cup of carrots. But yeah, and so, man, let me tell you, Toya is not feeling it, but I think it's a good idea. I'm with Simone. Like, first of all, if Simone would have got divorced, she's like, would you have left me? Would you have not taken us Will we have not been invited? She said, I would hate to think, of us not being, able to come on the couples trip. Because remember, her and her husband Cecil, they were close to divorce. They were close to divorce. Them and Jackie and her husband were close to divorce. But, things turned around for the better. And now here they are, happily married again. At least so it seems. So, I agree. I think it's a good idea. Y'all let me know what y'all think about inviting your single friend on a couples trip. I mean, I guess I'm just looking at it like they've been friends for so long. Through the ups and downs, ins and outs. When Quad was married, they were friends. When they were separated, they were friends. They all remained friends and had each other's back when they was going through issues with their husbands, their families, finances, foreclosures, all kind of stuff. A lot of them has been through a lot of stuff. And I can see if it was just a friend, like a random friend that they hardly talk to, they hardly see, but being that she is a part of the show, and they are like friends for real in real life and have some kind of bond, I don't see nothing wrong with her going. And like Simone said, they could learn something from her. They could possibly learn from some of the mistakes that, she might have made in her relationship or that her husband might have made in the relationship. And maybe she can learn a lot of things from them, as far as what to do in her next relationship, what to look for in a man, as far as if she wants to get married again in the future. And I don't know if she plans to get married again in the future, but I'm just saying. Now, throw these away since I already have them all over this board. And here are my veggies that I'm going to put in my soup. Onion, celery, carrots. And I'm also going to have some garlic, some minced garlic that I'm going to put in there too. Now, and while I'm seasoning up this chicken, and I'm using chicken thighs, by the way, for my chicken noodle soup, let's discuss Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie. Now, remember last episode, Quad had her cookbook release party. And yes, I'm going to get her cookbook. I try to, whenever some of my celebrities that I favor come out with some type of book or something, I try to support them, And plus, I love a good cookbook. Y'all know I love to cook, and I'm a custom cake decorator. So I like to stay in the kitchen. So I'm gonna check that out. But anywho, I guess Jackie, she's she had such a wonderful time. Oh, excuse me, this seasoning. And she had such a wonderful experience at Quad's event that she feels like she needs to have a little event for her book. Now, her book, I really want to get this book and see what it all has to say about the female anatomy. Now, if some of y'all are like me, my mother, when I was younger, we didn't have these long, extended conversations about, the anatomy, about, we didn't really talk about that. When it came to sex and everything, my mom, she would tell me, don't do it. And y'all know, I already mentioned several times, she was really religious. Really religious. So, her thing was, don't do it. God don't accept sex before marriage, fornication, kids out of wedlock. She was really religious. Like a lot of, parents. And so, our basic discussion was about, coming on the menstrual what it's going to be like, what you need to do, what you need to use, what you're going to go through, you know, the pains and the change in your body and all that. That was like the extent of our conversation when it came to the female anatomy. So I would really like to see this book. By the way, the book is called The Open and Honest 50 Shades of Pink. Got my grease on. I'm going to try to season the other side of this meat real quick while my grease is on. But yeah, 50 Shades of Pink. So I like that. So she told Quad, you know, she's going to have an event, have a book. The book isn't actually out yet, I don't believe, because she says she's going to have a book cover release party. Quad had an actual book release party. So, you know, she's releasing the cover of the book. But I'm still interested in the book and checking it out. So y'all let me know, ladies, if y'all interested in the book, or if you had a parent like mine who really didn't get into all that when you was growing up. I don't know if it was because some parents, they just, I don't know. Some parents get a little embarrassed about talking about that with their kids. And I understand, because when I did it with mine, I had the same feeling. I'm sitting there talking like, but then I was like, you know what? I ain't beating around the bush with this stuff. We is not beating around the bush. I'm going to let you know exactly what it is, what it ain't. Just like Dr. Simone did with her sons. She showed them pictures of what actual diseases look like herpes, chlamydia, trick, all that kind of stuff. She showed her sons pictures. And I did the same thing. My sons could tell you. I took them right to the computer. I said, what do you think that is? They're like, oh, what is that? Ooh, it was too funny. It was too funny. Did I use all my seasonings? I can't remember if I used all my seasonings. But they seasoned enough. But they was like, oh, mama, what is that? Okay, we get it. Do we got to keep looking at this stuff? Man, it was hilarious. But yeah, they got the point. I don't think they ever caught anything, you know, as far as I know. But anyway, so I'm really, you know, excited to see her book and see what all she has to say in there about the book. I think this is a good book. I think this will be a good book for women, especially women who grew up like me, we know our bodies per se. Every lady gets to a point where they know their body per se, but there's a lot of different things. Like, it's kind of like the human anatomy. Like, people be like, when you mention something about the body, they be like, what is that? Where is that located? What does that do? How does that help me live? How does that, you know, affect me? So, you know, it's a lot of things in our body that we might not even know, you know, is there, you know, because some people probably didn't take, you know, advantage of physics or didn't pay attention in those kind of classes and stuff like that. I might have been one of them. But yeah, so you ladies let me know, again, if you grew up kind of like I did with a mother who didn't really go into details about the female anatomy. And if you are interested in checking out her book. Now, as far as this release party that Dr. Jackie had, man, I cannot tell you the expression on my face when I saw what Dr. Jackie did to Buffy. I mean, first of all, Buffy, she has been married for quite some time. She's been with her husband for quite some time. You know, the white guy. He's a doctor. I can't remember his name. Matter of fact, he's a psychiatrist. I think a psychiatrist. And I cannot remember his name right now off the top of my head. But I cannot believe what Dr. Jackie did. I cannot believe that her as a doctor would do something like that at her book release party. Can y'all believe what she did? She was standing up there, you know, explaining why she wrote the book, the certain things she went through, you know, like 20 years ago when she had cancer, breast cancer, and she had to have her breast removed, and, you know, all the radiation and everything. From a lot of things she had to go through, and from a lot of things she experienced, she could not have children. She could not have children. And she was like, and I know, Buffy, you understand where I'm coming from because you're infertile. You're infertile. Like, she really said that in the mic. She really spoke into the microphone and said that in front of all them people. Oh my God. Everybody was like, Dr. Jackie, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. And you know, all the doctors in the room, they probably like, no, she didn't. I mean, now, it might not be patient confidentiality if everybody knows, especially on the TV show, and it's been aired that Buffy, you know, has had problems having children. But still, some of them people probably there didn't know. And then on top of that, Buffy's like, I'm not even, you know, sure if I want to call it infertile. You know, she's had, you know, troubles having children, you know, that's true. She's had troubles, you know, having children. But she's like, even if I was infertile, like 100% infertile, you know, her and her husband, they both been checked. They done certain things, you know, with, you know, doctors and, you know, trying to get pregnant and whatnot. And I don't know if they tried everything or not, but I think Buffy, she kind of sounded like they tried something, but maybe not everything, or maybe not repeatedly tried something. So, you know, she could eventually have a child. But for Dr. Jackie to put that out there like that, I would have been devastated. Like, wow, Dr. Jackie. Dr. Jackie, you wrong for that. You are so wrong for that. This chicken is kicking. Cooking up really good. Really good. Again, I'm using some chicken thighs, bone-in chicken thighs, by the way, with the skin still on. Gotta have that skin on there because that helps for that chicken broth that you need to make the chicken noodle soup. Cook the chicken for about 4 minutes on each side. But yeah, so let's talk about Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott. Now, they visited a marriage counselor. And first thing first, Dr. Scott, he gets a phone call like as soon as they sit down in the counselor's office. And then he was like, excuse me, I gotta take this. And he walks out. And Dr. Contessa said that's one thing, that's one of the problems that we have. Like, you're in marriage counseling and you walked out the door to go answer a phone call. I would have been like, if it ain't Jesus, if it ain't Jesus, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the ruler of, you know what I mean? If it ain't him, then you don't need to be, send it to voicemail. Send it to voicemail. So, I don't know. I guess maybe it could have been a really super emergency or something like that. But if it was that important, you know, that much of an emergency, you probably would think that he would have just upped and left, right? But anyway, he comes back in and they start discussing, you know, some of their issues. And Dr. Contessa, you know, she expresses, as you know, you can already tell, you know, pretty much what she's going through and how she's feeling about their relationship, which is she doesn't feel important. She doesn't feel as valid as he does, especially when it comes to her dreams, especially when it came to her, you know, deciding to go to school to further her career and, you know, make some switches into the field of medicine. He was with it at first. Like, I was wondering about that. Like, how she get enrolled in college in another city, in Nashville, Tennessee, another, you know, state, and she claims it was like the best place to go for the field that she's, you know, going to be in, you know, the best college, for her needs, and she enrolled. She was going for like 8-9 months, and then all of a sudden she has to unenroll. She has to withdraw because of the fact that he's putting all this pressure on her because he has to be super dad through the week because she was only coming home on the weekends when she's out of school. Now, I understand, him being under pressure. Heck, single women and single parents are under pressure all the time. But when you in a marriage like that and y'all been together a while and y'all both have great careers, eventually you guys are going to want to move up a level, move to the next step, open your own business, something like that. And I'm like, it's going to come a point in time where somebody has to be like, okay, I'll be the main caregiver so you can do this. Or I'll work extra hours to help you pay off this. Or we'll take out a loan to help you go to school. Or, it's like a give and take in a marriage. So I really hate that she had to withdraw from classes because she felt like, like her career is not as important, as his. So it is what it is. But that's what she was telling him about. She started crying. And the doctor was like, tell him, how you feel and everything. And, let him know exactly, how you feel. And she was saying she feels like a bad wife, a bad mom, for not being there, as much as she used to. And so that's why she withdrew. So, and his comeback was he didn't realize how hard it was going to be for him to be super dad, to be the main caregiver of the children, to be not actually a single father, because he's not a single father, but he was doing single father duties. So, again, I get where he's coming from, but if it was the reversal role, like she said, men, if they wanted to go out there and do something else, if they wanted to get a job on the road and traveling and whatnot, they expect that woman to be there and be home. Shoulders. They expect that woman to be there and be home. Let me get a plate so I put my chicken on. Take this meat out so it can strain. Chicken back, and no, I'm not going to use all this chicken in the chicken noodle soup. Some of it's left over I'm going to use just to have on the side, and then we can have some leftovers for tomorrow. But yeah, so she's back at home full time, and she's not happy though. You can tell she's not happy, but she's excited to go on this couples trip, and she brought some, some of what advice that the counselor had provided them, and they're going to try to put some of that to use, while they're on this couples trip, and I hope that something happens in their relationship, just gets this spark underneath it, and the flame will get sparked again. That's what I'm hoping and wishing for. But yeah, so y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Have you ever been in a situation where you or your husband, or if you're not married and it's boyfriend, girlfriend, and also parents, if y'all had to be the main parent or the main caregiver while the other one was in school or traveling or anything like that? And if you have some good recommendations or advice for people who might be going through the same thing so that their relationship won't suffer. So please make sure you put it in the comment section or put it in the chat. And also, let's see, when they were on the road, and I won't actually say on the road, but when they were, when they had the party, the meeting or whatnot, the get together or whatnot, for the couples retreat, Toya had a bright idea. And that bright idea was we gonna have a dance contest to see who can dance the best. And that's the person who is going to get the penthouse suite. I was like, okay, let's see how this is going to go. Do you know who I thought was going to win? I really thought that maybe, I don't know why, but I thought Mariah, I don't know. For some reason, I thought Mariah, her husband, would probably win. But it was Heavenly. Man, did you see Heavenly backing it up and bouncing back? She said, all you gotta do is catch it, baby. All you gotta do is catch it, daddy. You know she calls her man, her husband, daddy. All you gotta do is catch it, daddy. I'ma throw it, you catch it. I'ma throw it, you catch it. He was down there tabletopping it. I mean, spinning around. I thought the man was gonna end up in the hospital. I'm like, oh my God, if this man gets hurt, if he break his neck. Everybody was down on the floor like they teenagers. Doing the snake. Oh no, not doing the snake. Doing the worm. Damon, boy. Dr. Heavenly's husband, Damon. He did a one-hand table stand. Heavenly was shaking that tail feather like she was having convulsions. She was shaking that tail feather like she was having convulsions. Lord have mercy. I'm like, man, you know what, Damon? I have newfound respect for you. Newfound respect for you because you know what? A lot of people talk about what big people can't do, what the healthier size people can't do. You know, what the fluffier size people can't do. Damon, they deserve that suite or that penthouse, whatever it is that they get. They deserve that. That was too doggone funny. That was too funny. But, you know, overall, this last episode, I really did enjoy, you know, the storylines over the past episode. Next week, I'm looking forward to see, you know, how well this couple's trip is going to go. Especially with Quad and Toya. And again, back to Quad and Toya. Like, why do y'all feel like Toya really don't like Quad hanging around, you know, them and their husbands, being that she's single? Now, do y'all get the idea that she's like this with all ladies, all single ladies? Like, I'm starting to wonder, does Toya have any single friends at all? Like, most people in relationships, they have single friends, they have couple friends, you know? And they usually don't have a problem with their single friends because me, if you like me, for example, in a relationship, I know who and who not to trust. You just know who and who not to trust, you know, in your circle when it comes to your man, your husband, your fiance, your baby daddy, you know, whatever. But Toya strikes me as this kind of person who's really insecure when it comes to her man being around single women. So y'all let me know, you know, what y'all think about that. You know, I could be wrong, but again, that's why I'm asking y'all, Primetime Squad, give me your thoughts on that, please, and thank you so much. Now, I'm going to finish this chicken, y'all. Oh, this chicken just smells so amazing. So amazing. I already got my vegetables cut up. This is the last of the meat. Some of this meat I'm going to use for the chicken noodle soup for my son since he's down with the flu. He's off of work the rest of the week. Can't go back to work till Monday. So I told him I'd make him some chicken noodle soup. And it smells so good. The chicken smells so good. I'm just kind of browning it, not cooking it, just kind of browning it on both sides so I can put it in the pan so it can boil with the noodles and the vegetables. Take these rest of this chicken. Put it in the strainer so it can drip. Turn this eye on. Now, as far as this grease that's left in here, I'm going to use some of it, but not all of it. I'm going to use some of it, but not all of it. Some of it I'm going to pour out, but I'm going to keep like 2 tablespoons full. Now, the 2 tablespoonfuls that I reserved from the drippings, I am going to put my onions in there. And let these onions cook a little bit. Over medium heat till they're tender. Which should take about 5 minutes, give or take. Okay, it's been cooking about 5 minutes. So now I'm going to add 1 clove of garlic. And some people like to use the raw garlic. I prefer right here, bam. I use this in everything. So stir it up in there because we're going to stir that in and cook it for about a minute more. And again, if you want to try this recipe, I use 1 whole medium to large size onion, diced, 4 celery stalks, diced, a cup of carrots, diced, and 1 garlic clove minced or cut up, diced, however you want to call it. I also use chicken thighs. Make sure they have the skin and make sure they have the bone. So you need bone in with the skin chicken thighs. And I cooked the whole pack, although I'm only going to use like 6 or 7 for the chicken noodle soup. And the rest I'm just going to use, I'm going to throw them, you know, in the oven and cook them the rest of the way for tomorrow. You know, for leftovers, or if, you know, the boys want a piece of chicken, a whole chicken on the side of their chicken noodle soup. But yeah, for the soup, you just need like 6 or 7 chicken thighs. So that's been cooking about a minute. Now we're going to add our chicken broth. And mind you, after you cook your chicken, after you season up your chicken, however you want to season it up, because you got to cook that. After you chop up your veggies and stuff, you know, cook your chicken. And then cook it like 4 minutes. Like 4 minutes, you know, till it's just brown. You know, on either side, till it's just brown. And then after it browns on either side and you take the chicken out to strain it, put it in a strainer. But the grease that's left over in the chicken, you know, from you browning the chicken, hold over like 2 tablespoons. You can get rid of the rest of the grease. But keep like 2 tablespoons of the grease. And what I use for my grease, I use a couple of tablespoons of canola oil and like a tablespoon of butter. That's what I used. Now I'm going to put in. Now after I saute the onions and the garlic, I'm putting it in my pot because I sauteed them in a skillet. So I'm putting them in my pot that I'm going to actually have my noodles cooking in with 10 cups of chicken broth. I already used one container. That was the last from that container. And I have another container on standby because that one box doesn't have enough cups in just that one box. All that chicken broth in there with the onions, garlic, chicken drippings. We're going to put this on high and let it boil. And then once it comes to a boil, we're going to add the chicken back in the pot and the celery and the carrots. And we also have some bay leaves. And we also have some thyme. And I use these fresh when I make my homemade chicken noodle soup. And then I'm also going to add some lemon juice. Okay. The chicken broth is boiling. So I'm going to put the rest of the ingredients in the chicken broth. I'm going to put like a teaspoon or two of some fresh thyme. Yes, fresh. Put a little bit of that in there. Just to spicing it up a little bit. And again, we're using some bay leaves as well. I'm going to use 2 of these. Oops. Okay, 2 of those. It comes with about 8 or 10. Put the rest in the fridge. You can use them another time if you need to. Also, we're going to add the carrots and the celery. We're also going to add the chicken that has been draining. Look at that chicken. Just seasoned oh so well. Let me let you get a good look at it. Now, we're also going to add the seasoned chicken that we already cooked, but we're not going to have the skin on there. The skin, we kept the skin on to begin with when we first cooked the chicken because of the fact we want that good old chicken broth from the skin. So what I'm doing, I'm just pulling off the skin of the chicken thighs before I put them into the boiling water. So peel off as much skin as you can. And all together, I'm using 6 of the chicken thighs that I cooked. And again, the rest of them, since we only browned them, to begin with, the rest of the chicken I'm putting in the oven to cook the rest of the way. Okay, so that's the chicken without the skin. Wash my hands. And here's the rest of the chicken. It was 4 pieces left over. So again, I'm gonna put them in the oven. Once the oven beeps and tells me it's ready, the rest of this thyme and bay leaves, put in the fridge. We're gonna cover this pot and let it simmer on low. Well, you know what simmer means. Let me stir it up a little bit first. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. It smells so good. I absolutely love homemade chicken noodle soup. Or turkey noodle soup. Which I like to make with rice though, my turkey noodle soup. Now, while this is cooking on simmer for 25 to 30 minutes, in the meantime and in between time, take your noodles. I just got some wide egg noodles from Walmart. You need about 3 cups, 3 to 4 cups. So set 3 or 4 cups of the noodles, to the side. And then after this gets done from simmering for 25, 30 minutes, remove it from the heat and let it stand for 20 to 25 minutes. And then while it's standing, you want to take the chicken out, set it to the side so it can cool off. While that chicken is cooling off, you put those noodles, those 3 cups of noodles in the pot while it's away from the heat, and let the noodles just sit in there in that chicken broth for about 20-25 minutes. After that, you're going to want to take your chicken, put your chicken back into the pot. Take a tablespoon of some lemon juice and a tablespoon of some parsley and stir it all in there. And you're ready to go. You're ready to go. And then this soup will be done. I can take this homemade chicken noodle soup to my son who is sick with the flu. He is really, really, really under the weather. I mean, feverish, everything. He got his meds and everything, but he's down for the count, at least for maybe 4 or 5 days. He can't go to work, till next Monday. So the doctor says, unless, his symptoms persist and he needs to go back to the hospital. So Primetime Squad, please throw up some prayers for my son, for my man child, that he recovers and feel better really, really soon. Now, I am going to get up out of here, Primetime Squad. I thank and appreciate you guys for chilling with me and tuning in for my Married to Medicine review, as well as while I'm making some homemade chicken noodle soup for my sick baby, my man child. Make sure you guys like the video, share the video if you like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to be a Primetime Squad member. If you want to be a part of our family, hit that notification bell after you hit that subscribe button. Please and thank you very kindly, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm out. Deuces.